Following the trend of new villains appearing in 2 episodes each this season, Bianca and Barbarous have returned to grace us with their presence once again. If you recall all the way back in my Bye Bye Bellum review, you might remember me saying something along the lines of me welcoming this addition to the cast of villains. Despite me wishing to retract that statement, I will still say that they are the best new villains this show has to offer. That being said, this episode didn't really make me like them any better or any worse than I already did. I still don't quite understand what significance Barbarous serves because Bianca does all of the talking and strategizing. I'm guessing that they're trying to go for a brain versus brawn duality here, but there is barely any time given to the brawn in either episode centering around them. Every time the both of them are on screen, Bianca is always in control, leading the way. Now, that makes sense because she's the one with the plan and the skills to execute it, but Barbarous literally just stands there and looks pretty the entire time. There's a lack of balance between the two, making one half seem meaningless in comparison to the other. This combo would work better if Barbarous actually did some of the speaking, or if we got some witty banter between the two of them every now and again. I see this as a way for these characters to bounce off of each other. Their differing personalities would easily allow for some funny moments here and there, know what I mean? All I'm saying is that it's a missed opportunity. We begin with a trailer to a show the girls are watching known as the Turnaround Tank. First Judge Trudy and now this? What's next, The Walking Bread? It's nice to finally get some backstory on where these two came from though. It would have been better if they were introduced this way during their first appearance in Bye Bye Bellum, but better late than never I suppose. Though, there is one thing I don't understand, specifically with this part of the commercial.
These were the ingredients that once made the terrible twosome, the fashionistas!
The way this statement is worded implies that they are now known as the Terrible Twosome. Would it not make sense if the two names were reversed? If they're reformed now, why are they called the Terrible Twosome and not the Fashionistas? It kinda sends the wrong message, don't you think? I also find it funny that this one woman who's clearly meant to be running away from them is frozen in place while the two wreak havoc everywhere. She should obviously be moving, but I guess it would have taken too much time and money to animate. Buttercup and Bubbles aren't buying their shtick, and quite frankly I don't believe anyone would, but Blossom still tries to defend them. She doesn't explicitly state that she believes they're good, but she tries to justify it by stating,
"They haven't committed any crime since getting out of jail."
Yeah, you're right, Blossom. They aren't doing anything bad that's visible to the public, so they obviously aren't bad guys. It's not like every evil villain out there tries to keep their plan secret because they don't want to get caught or anything. No, of course not. What am I thinking? Back on Whale Tub, or whatever it's called, Bianca unveils her latest fashion design to the world.
It looks like a scarf.
Yes! But can a scarf be worn like this?
Yes it can. I would know, I've worn scarves like that before. Don't judge me! Bianca continues to advertise for her neck warmers, as I'm calling them because I refuse to say what they're actually named, by telling everyone to take photos of themselves and upload it to social media using their slogan, "Looks are everything." This episode is going to be outdated before you know it, just you wait. The girls then put on their disturbing Adventure Time faces once again and grab the professor so they can convince him to buy them these newfangled neck warmers. He tells them that he refuses to support such a thing because their slogan is an offensive term to live by, and I have to agree with him on that. I would never support something I don't feel would be worth my time or if I feel it delivers a bad message. Especially if it's a cheap cash grab that's meant to take advantage of people by using something they're familiar with and then stomping all over it by taking away everything that made the original product special and leaving them with an empty excuse for a reboot that doesn't actually do anything spectacular because it's full of animation errors that are very hard to miss and incoherent story writing that leads to a lot of characters not making any logical sense because the things they say and do each episode don't line up with each other, which is ultimately the reason why I started reviewing this show in the first place, because I found it disgraceful that such a network would ever even attempt to revive a show as beloved as this and not give it the care and attention it deserves, but rather just milk the franchise for any cash it could possibly get. Not to mention the fact that it just steals all of its episode ideas from the original series and claims them as its own anyway, so it's not like they're even trying to make something new and exciting out of it, because who needs to put effort into something when they could just tug at everybody's nostalgia and bank on the fact that they'd be willing to spend money on the merchandise for the sole reason that they remember loving it fondly during their childhood, when in reality those people do not care about the new show but rather the same original show that brought them joy and happiness. Something that this lifeless shell of a reboot can never provide. When the girls go to their elemental high school the next day, everyone makes fun of them for not having neck warmers of their own, and Blossom even gets kicked out of student council because of it. Okay, first, that's in no way a justification for kicking someone out like that, but more importantly, when was Blossom ever on student council? I thought she lost the class presidency to Matt Manser 2 episodes ago. How long has it been since then? Did she join the council on the side as a result? I have no idea. But yeah, the girls end up walking past Bianca's shop and admire the neck warmers they can't have because the professor said so. Wait, if Bianca and Barbaros just get out of prison, how did they get enough money to build a store already? Luckily for them, Not Sedusa and Pink Donkey Kong show up to give them complimentary neck warmers as a sign of their reformation. Buttercup and Bubbles are all for trusting them, but Blossom isn't so sure, which doesn't make any sense to me because wasn't it the other way around at the beginning of the episode?
Good guys? I don't buy it. Yeah, once a bad dude, always a bad dude.
Oh, yeah, it was. So then what's with the sudden flip-flop of roles here? Blossom does manage to stop her sisters from jumping at the opportunity, but Bianca explains that in order for people to get ahead in the world, they need to dress accordingly. What Bianca says here leads Blossom to have a daydream about being the leader of the free world because we didn't get enough of that in Presidential Punch-Out already. And then to make matters worse, this guy shows up.
Blossom.
Get the out of here!
I'll talk about him at a later time. Once Blossom comes back to reality, she concludes that it couldn't possibly hurt to have one of these so-called neck warmers, and the girls finally get what they've wanted all along. Next, we get a montage where the girls are taking pictures of their daily lives while showing off these sensational neck warmers every chance they get. Okay, I really want to take a minute to pay close attention to these image posts because there's no way the staff actually expected people to look at them for more than a split second. First off, Barbaros loses her lipstick after getting her picture taken. Next, I want to direct your attention over to the fact that the color of the like button on the Fashionista page is black, yet it appears pink on the Powerpuff pages. I'm not sure if it was a mistake or if it's implying that one of these two accounts like their own photos, but either way it's pretty sad. And above all else, I want to read all of these photo descriptions to you because they are glorious. Everyone at Symbol School loved our neck warmers. Okay, that one's pretty harmless. Best school council meeting ever. Okay, not sure if those two R's are a typo or not. It's more than one, but less than three, so that's kind of a tough call. Buzz ride with... Buzz ride. Buzz ride. What? Looks like Mojo showed up. Why, yes, it does look like that, doesn't it? It also looks like you forgot to capitalize the L in looks. Gonna beat up Mojo while looking fab. You're not going to beat him up, you are beating him up. Went out for, okay, did you just suddenly stop capitalizing all of your descriptions? You're not gonna believe this, but they managed to spell their own made up word wrong. I'm not even kidding. Look at this, and now look at this. Where'd the H go? Also, where's Mojo's mouth? Is it around the straw? Because it sure doesn't look like it. Heading home. Oops, wow, they just stopped trying, didn't they? So yeah, the professor finds out the girls were wearing neck warmers all day and demands they hand them over to him. Again, he's right about this. Wearing particular products does show that you endorse their message. Guess that explains why my parents never let me wear my Hooters shirt out in public. Meanwhile, back with the terrible twosome, as they're supposedly called, they notice that their neck warmers are taking the nation by storm thanks to those blasted Powerpuff Girls. Bianca then uses her stick to activate the neck warmer's secret ability. Turns out they were actually mind control devices, and please tell me I'm not the only one that immediately jumped to the SpongeBob movie when seeing this. Well, it sure is a good thing the girls weren't wearing their neck warmers, or else they'd have ended up mind controlled too. Oh wait, Blossom secretly decided to put hers back on when the professor wasn't looking. Okay, so two of the girls aren't mind controlled because they're sitting on the couch watching Space Tow Truck and discussing their own theories behind it to pass the time. A news bulletin interrupts their conversation to show Bianca and Barbaros have taken over Townsville with their mind controlled neck warmers. Look, I just have to say that I am not a fan of the way Bianca drops modern slang all over the place. Like, specifically calling her mind-controlled slaves followers just sounds so forced.
Bring us a non-fat almond milk skinny double chai latte.
Yep, they just had to go there, didn't they? And after Bianca and Barbaros have their demands met, they reveal that Blossom is under their control as their new bodyguard. Now, here's what I don't get. Of all the girls to go against the professor's word, it was the most responsible one who takes everything the professor says to heart and follows all the rules. Something's not right here. If Blossom is going to go against something she normally wouldn't do, she had at least better have a good reason for doing it. The professor sees her betrayal on TV and takes Bubbles and Buttercup with him to go get her. Upon arrival, the professor marches straight up to where Blossom is and begins to scold her for going against what he said until Bianca gets tired of hearing it and has her throw the professor right back onto their car. He continues to try and stop her again.
Professor!
And again. And again. He eventually ends up grabbing the stick from Bianca out of his own anger and frustration, which causes her to sick Barbaros on him. She ends up fulfilling her only purpose in this episode by chasing him to the point where the professor trips and launches the stick right into the TV screen, similar to that of the 1984 Apple commercial from way back before I was even born. This frees everyone from the terrible twosome's grasp, and everything goes back to normal. After Blossom does a bunch of chores, the professor forgives her and everything ends off when he decides to take them all out for ice cream.
And so once again,
Holy crap, they're doing the heart thing? I thought they dropped that like 10 episodes ago. So like I said at the beginning, I thought this was better than the Fashionista's first appearance. It helped that they were established this time because it gave us a better look at who they actually are as characters. It certainly did a much better job at introducing them than most other villains in the show so far. I will honestly say that this was one of the better episodes of the reboot. Not that it means a whole lot, and it might have something to do with the fact that the previous episodes I've had to cover were so bad, but aside from the modern slang dropping like I mentioned earlier, I think it's tolerable. Now, if you don't mind, I'm gonna go prepare for the shitstorm.
Oh man, you gotta check out this fanfic I wrote about that.
Get the out of here!